Hey guys, welcome back to Based MMA. Alexander Volkanovski, guys, has lost his damn mind, man. And I'm making this video because I just watched Alexander Volkanovski's recap of UFC 294, and I was hoping, man, that he would kind of retract some of the statements he made at the post-fight press conference. But it seemed like the guy just doubled down on everything he said on that post-fight press conference, man. And we need to protect Volkanovski by himself, because if Volkanovski decides to fight Ilia Topuria in January, I myself will fly to Australia and convince this man to not take the fight in January, man. Alexander Volkanovski just got head kick KO'd brutally, man. He took a lot of unanswered shots after he got some with that head kick. And for him to try to make such a short turnaround to fight in January against Ilia Topuria, who in this channel, go watch my last couple of videos. I already felt that Ilia Topuria was ready for Alexander Volkanovski even before Alexander Volkanovski stepped in to fight Islam. I knew this guy was a very dangerous fighter on Ilia Topuria, undefeated in MMA. I really think the guy's the real deal. And now with Volkanovski getting head kick KO, Ilia Topuria's chances just increased so much. Like, his chances of winning against Volkanovski increased significantly. And if Volkanovski decides to fight in January against Ilia Topuria, I'm gonna pick Ilia Topuria to beat him, man. There's no way Volkanovski's gonna win that fight, and Volkanovski needs to be protected from himself, guys. And I've been trying to figure out, like, why is Volkanovski doing this, man? And I honestly think, guys, and look, I get it. A lot of you guys are gonna say, "Oh my God, how can you criticize Volkanovski? He's a fighter. You're just a guy on YouTube. You don't know anything about fighting. Blah 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 blah." You're gonna hear all that shit in the comments. But honestly, I've been thinking, like, why is Volkanovski going down this path? And I honestly believe it's rooted in insecurity. I believe it's rooted in insecurity, man, because it seems like Volkanovski he feels like the need to prove something. He's like the type of guy, he's the type of friend, like, when you go with your friends camping or whatever you guys do, and there's like, there's this big cliff, and your friends, nobody's gonna jump off, and then there's this guy that's like, "Oh, I'm gonna jump off the cliff," just to prove to the other friends out there that he's the man. That's kind of what Volkanovski is doing here, where, like, we already know you're the man. You don't need to do all these stupid decisions and take fights on short notice when you're not really prepared. And he talked about it in his recap. He said, "I got caught, I was hesitant on the feet." Yeah, we know why you were hesitant. You know why you're hesitant? Because you don't feel prepared enough, which makes sense. You're coming off the couch when you're in there in the octagon. You're like, "Man, I'm not prepared for this. I didn't really have like a full training camp." And the thing is that I get it, man. Belief can get you very far, but if you don't put in the work, if you're not prepared for a challenge, it doesn't matter how much you believe in yourself. You're gonna fall. You're gonna fall, man. And like I said, Islam Makhachev isn't just whatever opponent. No offense to all the other fighters, but look, if he was fighting maybe like a Korean Zombie, somebody who's not in their prime anymore, then yeah, I think that, there's a good chance that Volkanovski might be able to win that fight on short notice. I still think it would be very risky, but his chances, are pretty good. But you're fighting someone like Islam Makhachev, where in the first fight you had all the advantages and you still lost a very close decision, and you decide to take that fight on 11 days notice, where, according to Volkanovski, he's been going through a lot of mental health struggles. He just had a kid. He just had hand surgery. So if anything, that should have been more of a reason why you don't take the fight against Islam Makhachev, man. And Volkanovski said a lot of concerning things in that interview he posted this morning, where I don't understand why, because he was saying that, being in a fight, signing to fight someone, being in fight camp just really keeps him motivated, and it really helps him stay away from his mental health struggles, and that he becomes a better father when he's in training camp and yada yada, which is good and stuff like that. But to me, it's like he says that, like, when he's not in training camp, like, he kind of lacks purpose. At least that's what I took from what he said. He was making it seem like when he's not on training camp, he feels like there's a lack of purpose, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, man. And if anything, the solution is not for you to go back, to rush back into a fight to right the wrongs, or to be back in training camp. If anything, that should tell you that you need to take care of of your life outside of fighting that you need to maybe look. I know not everyone's religious, but maybe Volkanovski needs to go to church. Maybe he needs to find God, man. Because if he's really having these struggles, the reality is that fighting isn't everything. You know what I'm saying? That eventually he's going to get up there in age. Eventually he's going to retire and he's not going to fight. Like, what is he going to do at home? You know, he's going to have to find other purpose. And the fact that he made this really rash decision because of what he was going through at home is even more concerning in my opinion, you know, because like, let's say everything at home in his personal life was going well, and then he decides to take the Islam Makhachev fight. Okay, I could see that, you know what I'm saying? He's really believing in himself. But the fact that he already had all those struggles and then decides to rush in to fight Islam Makhachev on 10 days notice with no preparation, man. And even when he walked out into the octagon, he looked really bad, man. He looked so flabby and fat. It was weird to see Volkanovski look like that. And yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, I mean, the head kick KO, like, that could have happened even if he had a full training camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's saying, like, oh, it's because I didn't really get to work on specifics. I didn't really get to, you know, spar that much. But to be totally honest with you, that could have still happened. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why he didn't pull the trigger that much in that Islam fight is because he probably didn't feel prepared. He probably didn't, you know, when you haven't been preparing and you're coming off the couch and you're back there in the octagon in a big moment, you're not gonna, you know, your instincts are not gonna be, you know, you're not gonna be reacting as well to things. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't had a full training camp. And, you know, he says, okay, another thing. He said that he does not regret taking the fight on short notice. That is so stupid, man. That is so stupid. You should regret that you took that fight on short notice. You should regret it. And the fact that you say, oh, dare to be great, well, believe, but you got to challenge yourself. You got to, that's stupid, man. That is like, Volkanovski is a very insecure guy, man. I think he's very insecure, and I don't know what he went through in his upbringing, but I feel like he's the type of guy that he always needs to prove to other people that he's the man. You don't need to prove to anyone that you're the man. You are the man. You're the 145 featherweight champion, featherweight gold in my opinion. You don't need to do stupid ass decisions and take fights on short notice, you know, just to prove that you're the man. You know what I'm saying? Like, John Jones would never do that. Mayweather would never do that. And why are these guys considered the best of the sports? Because, you know, they win, they always dominate, but they're not doing stupid decisions. And like I said, of course I respect that he took the fight on short notice, that he's not too concerned with his record and stuff like that. But it also tells me that he's gone to the extreme, the other side, you know what I'm saying? Where he's now, oh, okay, I believe that I can win, so therefore I'm going to take this fight with no preparation, with struggling at home, you know, he just got head kick KO. Now he wants to rush back and fight Ilia Topuria in January, which is stupid, man. Because I believe that's like 2-3 months away, which is not enough time to recover from that KO that he took, man. It wasn't just like a little TKO, man. He got head kick KO, and then he took a lot of unanswered shots. I'm sure he's suffering from concussions, and I just think it's incredibly stupid if he decides to fight in January. And I think he might be going down the Tony Ferguson route. And that's not to say that I think that Volkanovski is washed whatsoever, man. But if he keeps up this mindset, of like, I need to prove to other people that I'm the man, I need to prove to other people, it's gonna be a downward trajectory, man. And I'm just worried for Volkanovski. I really do think that he needs to find a better support system at home, and he really needs to find somebody that tells him the truth. Don't get me wrong, Volkanovski, of course, he's one of the best athletes and probably one of the best fighters we've ever had in the UFC. But he needs to be smart with his career, especially where he's at in his career. You know what I'm saying? He's not at the beginning of his career. He's not coming up. He's already been, one featherweight champion. He's already defended his title many, many times now. And he's at the end of his career. So this is where he needs to be a little bit more careful of when he takes fights. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is, like, he's like, oh, I lack purpose when I don't have a fight, blah, blah, blah. What do you mean, dude? You're the featherweight champion. Everybody's coming to you. You're on your time. You gotta fight on your time. You know what I'm saying? You can't just rush back to fight Ilia Topuria just because you want to right the wrongs of this fight and because you need to be in a training camp for you to feel good at home. That's not the way. That's not the solution. Like, it's weird. Like, I feel like he's contradicting himself because he's saying, you know, I feel better when I'm in training camp because it's my purpose, yada yada. But then it's like, that's not the solution. The solution for your mental health struggles is not for you to rush back into the octagon. The solution is for you to get help outside and try to fix that and really try to address that by going to church, by, talking to sports psychologists, by really talking to your coaches, by trying to figure out maybe that emptiness you feel in your soul, maybe getting closer to God. That could help, becoming a little bit more spiritual. Those things could help you, but the solution is not for you to rush in and rush into a fight where you just took a head kick KO. You took a KO for the first time in a while in your career. I believe he got KO'd prior to him joining the UFC. So I believe it's been like about a decade now since he first got TKO'd. So it's been quite a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's going to hurt him. And like I said, I already felt that Ilia Topuria was not gonna be light work for Volkanovski, and now with Volkanovski deciding that he still wants to fight in January, I mean, how can you not pick Ilia Topuria, man? How can you not pick Ilia Topuria? That's not to say that Volkanovski doesn't have the skills to beat Ilia Topuria. I even believe that Alexander Volkanovski has the skills to beat Islam Makhachev. But for him to make these stupid ass decisions and rushing back into a fight when he really shouldn't, man. He doesn't need to prove to us that he's a man. He is a man. And that's why I think all of this is just rooted in insecurity, rooted in the fact that Volkanovski always feels like he needs to prove to other people that he's the man, when we know you are, man. We know you are. You need to take some time off. Come back maybe mid next year. You don't need to come back that soon, man. Let Ilia Topuria fight Max Holloway. You take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Prepare. You had hand surgery. Make sure you're ready. Make sure you're able to recover from that Islam Makhachev head kick KO. Because if you don't, man, think about it. He rushes back, fights in January. Let's say he loses against Ilia Topuria, which I think if he does decide to fight in January, there's a big chance that Topuria wins that fight. If Topuria wins that fight, what is Volk going to do? What are you going to do? Your career's over. You have too much to lose. You have too much to lose for you to rush back into the octagon. Don't be stupid, Volk. Don't be stupid. You're one of my favorite fighters. And the fact that you want to rush back in there is so stupid, bro. Trust me. I feel like he thinks he looks like, oh man, look at me. I'm so bold. Look, I'm challenging myself. Bro, you look stupid. Honestly, you look stupid. And look, I've never been the level of athlete that Volkanovski is. Definitely not. I mean, I used to be a track and field athlete. And I know what it's like to be in those big races where you need to be prepared and you can't just rush into a competition just because you feel like you can do it. You know what I'm saying? There's been so many times where I competed where I felt like I was mentally ready, but I knew deep inside that maybe I wasn't physically ready. And I fell and I didn't do as well. You know what I'm saying? So everything has to be in order. And Volkanovski needs to realize, he needs to look in the mirror and say, I'm human. You know what I'm saying? I'm human. And I feel like sometimes it's good to believe in yourself, man. But don't be delusional, Volk. Don't be fucking delusional. And I feel like he's being fucking delusional. And as the MMA community, we need to unite and make sure that this guy does not fight in January. Somehow, this guy must not fight in January because I don't want to see the downfall of Volkanovski, man. And it feels like it's the start. And the worst part isn't that he lost, because any fighter can lose on any given day. The worst part is how he's taking this loss and how he's processing all these things and saying, you know what, they need to keep me active. I got to make sure I fight in January. Bro, no, you have to be concerned for your own health. You're not going to be able to perform as well if you have a concussion, if you have injuries that you haven't addressed. Like Volkanovski, you're human. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get this far in your career just due to belief. You got far in this career because of your athletic ability, your training, your preparation, your fight IQ, you know what I'm saying? All those things come together for you to be the athlete that you are, not just the belief in yourself. That's not... Look, I feel like he's gone down this rabbit hole of belief. I'm the man, I believe, guys. Trust me, like I could have so much belief that I'm gonna beat this person, but if I don't train and if I don't put the preparation and I don't give time for my body to heal, I'm not gonna accomplish it, no matter how much belief I have. And like I said, The solution to his mental health struggles are not for him to rush back into the octagon. The solution is for him to find help outside of fighting and to try to find purpose outside of fighting. So when he goes back into fighting, he's in the best mental space and he takes his time, man. He's the featherweight champion. He's not a contender that, man, you only have this moment for you to be able to fight for the title. You gotta make sure you win this fight, you win that fight. You know what I'm saying? Volkanovski has already done that. If anything, it's on his time. You know what I'm saying? Act like a champion, Volk. Don't act like a contender. Don't get me wrong. It's good to act like a contender, right? It's good that you fight anybody. It's good that you're active. I respect all those qualities, but you at this time where you are in your career, your legacy, you're so close to being one of the best fighters of all time. Be a champion. Act like a champion, man. You're the king. You're the guy at the top of the hill. Act like it, Volk. Act like it. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. I was really annoyed by what he said in that recap. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people will be like, oh, respect to Volk. Respect, man. Respect. But somebody needs to keep it true. Somebody needs to keep it based. And that's me, guys. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.